so if I take the abjuration glyph and then take the square root of that and put it in the transmutation glyph, expose that out to, I gotta carry the 1. Oh, hello. Sorry, just doing a little homework, preparing. Big week for all of us, Strixhaven coming out and things like that. Break? Yeah, I can take a break. I can put this down. Yeah, well, let's get into it. I assume we're both preparing for the same thing, so let's study together. Now, what I think we can help each other with is creating a character that best fits the setting. With this new book coming out literally this Tuesday, we want to prepare the best NPCs as DMs and the best characters as players. With the main plot of this book being able to live out 4 years of a magical college, you get to choose 1 out of 5 colleges: Lorehold, Prismari, Quandrix, Silverquill, and Witherbloom. The question is, which one do you choose? And how can you make your character feel and fit to that college? Luckily, I've done the work for you because apparently I do a lot of reflavoring and flavoring on this channel. In this video, don't worry if you haven't been too familiar with the Strixhaven colleges before. I'll go over each one in depth and then talk about my top 5 pick subclasses that I feel would fit best to them. Then I'll share some alternate background choices as well as feats that will continue the flavor of that college. Now pack your bags and find your dorm room. We're going back to school. Hello Acolytes, welcome to the Cleric Corner. My name is Riker, and here we talk about all things Dungeons and Dragons, tapping into our higher powers to create worlds that are more unique and stories that are more impactful. And actually, I'm gonna get rid of this. It's fake. Giving us an excuse to live out our Harry Potter fantasies or just a completely new magical college realm on its own. Many are excited to live out those college days again. And then some of us want to just forget it ever happened and create a new experience that we wish we had in college.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're
Either way, let's talk about the college that you're going to go into and how you can reflavor your character so that you can truly feel a part of it. Going in alphabetical order, let's talk about the College of Lorehold. Being a Lorehold student, your academic focus is in the past. It's history, it's historical figures, it's learning from the dead. They are obsessed with the past and learning from it, so you can see them delve into the pits of ancient ruins all the time. And in the Strixhaven book, it actually gives us a few guidelines of what we could look at, including the Divination Wizard, Knowledge or Life Cleric, Ancestral Guardian Barbarian, or Oath of Ancients Paladin. All of which are amazing picks, but to me, none of them really emphasize the exploratory element of Lorehold. So here are my top 5 subclass picks for the College of Lorehold. Also, shout out to Fry Mini's channel. He's had the Strixhaven book for over a week, and he let me steal some of his screenshots for you guys. So go and pay him a visit and find out all the cool stuff in the book. Number 1, the Lore Bard. I'm getting this one out of the way because I have no idea why they didn't mention this one in the first place, but this bard definitely has the flavor as if it was written for Lorehold. You can make the argument that the College of Spirits would also be a really good fit, but I think the College of Lore really emphasizes the studious part of the college, learning extra magical phenomena and spells through their studies. Number 2, Drake Warden Ranger. Now, it should be said that really any ranger would fit well into Lorehold because of their exploratory element, but I think the Drake Warden Ranger introduces a cool and fun element because, as we know, in Strixhaven, each college was founded by an ancient dragon. Lorehold in specific was founded by Valimachus Lorehold, if I said that correctly. But this way, with your Drake Warden, you can squeeze in a connection with these founders that other students may not have, being quite literally a teacher's pet. Number 3 is Phantom Rogue, and this is where things get a little interesting. But the Phantom Rogue has a special connection with those who have passed on and those that are dead. And this would be an amazing flavor to bring a martial class into Strixhaven, which, according to Wizards of the Coast, is totally fine to do. But with this subclass, you can call on these old spirits to help you with math tests and school skirmishes. Number 4, Rune Knight Fighter. Another excuse to use a martial character, but for me, I really liked the usage of runes where you can totally flavor as this fighter finding in ancient ruins and picking them up as they go. You have a knack for this specific study of old ancient text, and you could literally be the jock that has a nerdy side. Number 5, Echo Knight Fighter. And I'm giving you another martial class because I'm not going to cover them a lot in the other colleges, but I'm I'm going to call them out when I do think that it is a good choice. And even if you're worried about not having spells in a magical college, it's not a college where you learn to cast spells, it's a college where you learn about magic and about spells. And you can always get the spells through backgrounds and feats and things like that, which we'll get to in a second. But back on the Echo Knight Fighter, this gives a similar flavor to the Phantom Rogue, where you literally can call upon the ancient spirits of those that are dead that can fight alongside you. And rules as written, your Echo to your fighter can look like anything. But going into backgrounds for Lorehold, the Strixhaven books gives you a background for each and every college that is currently in Strixhaven to help you get the flavor started from the get-go. Each of them gives you an expanded spell list for the specific college, as well as a feat for more spells, which granted is the only feat so far that we have a feat inside of the background. So even if you take this background with a fighter and you can't use the prepared spells, you'll still benefit a lot from it. So obviously with Lorehold, you'll get Lorehold specific spells and spell lists. But if you wanted to use some other fun backgrounds as well, you have Archaeologist, Anthropologist, and Far Traveler, all of which can help you immensely in your travels as you go throughout school. Now talking about feats for Lorehold, Strixhaven Curriculum of Chaos also gives you 2 feats to play with to help you flavor as well. The feat that you get is Strixhaven Initiate, which you can also get down the road with ASIs as well, but it gives you the choice of 2 cantrips out of a list of 3 and a first level spell from one of 2 class lists. If you wanted to focus on 2 spell schools in specific for Lorehold, I would go Divination and Necromancy. The second feat that Strixhaven gives you is Strixhaven Mascot. Now, you do need Strixhaven Initiate as a prerequisite for it, but basically it gives you a familiar in the form of a school mascot, again for the specific college that you're in. But this familiar fights alongside you, as well as gives you the ability to teleport yourself switching places, I think once per day. And of course you can use these 2 for any college, but if you didn't want to go the original Strixhaven backgrounds, you can always pick up like a Magic Initiate feat to get a Find Familiar spell, so you don't have to wait out the feat tree or anything like that. But choosing some other feats that would flavor well to your Lorehold character, I would choose Dungeon Delver and Linguist. Moving on to the College of Prismari, Prismari are the drama club, band geeks, dancers, painters, sculptors, the artists of the college community. You are expressive to the point of manifestation, and you flow with the fusion of magic and creativity. In making a character for this college, the book mentions leaning into more elemental subclasses, so more druid and sorcerers, but also Tempest Cleric, Eldritch Knight, and wizards from transmutation or evocation. But I think that there are some better picks, so here are my top 5 for the Prismari College. Number 1, Wildfire Druid. This one leans heavily into the elemental aspect, but also evocation magic. Another great feature is having your Wildfire Spirit at the table, because again, with all of the colleges, they each have their mascot, and you can easily reflavor your Wildfire Spirit as one of these Prismari mascots. Number 2, Genie Warlock. This one as well leans heavily into elemental magic as well. You could also argue Fiend for fire-based magic, but this one gives you the best choices as far as spells go. Plus, your patron could also be Galazeth Prismari, the College of Prismari founder, of course being a draconic patron instead of a genie. But I think it'd be fun to have your genie vessel for the subclass, like your book bag or something. Number 3, Glamour Bard. This one in specific is all about a good show, and with Prismari, you actually, in the book, get to fulfill your dreams in fashion shows. The enthralling performance ability gives you a magical aura that will be quite impressive as you show off your gown or suits. Number 4, Swords Bard. Now, this is another subclass that is bent on giving a crowd and an audience a good time. These bards are your sword swallowers, knife throwers, jugglers, larpers, perfect to brandish your talents with a blade both on and off the stage. Number 5, Ascendant Dragon Monk. Now, you could also choose the Way of 4 Elements Monk, but if we're being honest, Ascendant Dragon is way better. In this way, you can also tie your backstory into the founder of this college. Choosing your background for this character, you can also choose the Prismari student background, which gives you the same spell list and spell choices as before. But some other backgrounds that you might consider would be Entertainer, Witchlight Hand, or Gladiator would also be a good one. Fill your need to be the center of attention. With feats, of course, the first choice would again be Strixhaven Initiate and Strixhaven Mascot to fit your background. and in that case I would lean into evocation and conjuration magic. Or as far as other feats go, you can use the Elemental Adept or Gift of the Chromatic Dragon as great choices. Now we get to look at the College of Quandrix, the college that delves deep into the mathematics and physics of the natural world to apply into magic. This includes physics, metaphysics, logic, and arcana. Their magic is calculated and precise, and wishes to exemplify the rules of nature into magic. As stated in the book, Quandrix often lean to illusion, abjuration, or transmutation magic. Most sorcerers, druids, knowledge, and nature clerics, as well as martial classes that focus in on their mind, fit well in this college. And while that's really helpful, that's a lot to choose from, so I'll narrow it down and give you my top 5 picks for Quandrix subclasses. Number 1, Arcana Cleric, another obvious one that I think should have been listed, but I think this would be perfect for students that are really religious with their studies, and perfect for those 4.0 students who stay up till 5 o'clock in the morning studying for their tests. Not to mention that this class gives you some wizard spells and has one of my favorite channel divinities out of all the clerics. Number 2, Stars Druid. This to me is the perfect juxtaposition of both nature and science. Examples of Stonehenge and astrology is a perfect example of this union. The stars, after all, is where we get all of our measurements of time. You can find this character often hanging out in the school observatory. Number 3, Clockwork Soul Sorcerer. This is the student that is always on time for their classes. They have every hour blocked out in their planner, and not to mention the color-coded tabs. They always seem to go to bed at the exact same time and always remind the teacher about homework. To their credit, they're always precise. Number 4, Battlesmith Artificer. Leaning again on the union of science and magic, the Battlesmith uses their knowledge and application of tools to bring more of a physical presence to that magic. This would also be another great subclass to lean on the mascots of Strixhaven, making your Steel Defender the fractal mascot of the College of Quandrix. Number 5, Horizon Walker Ranger. Now, I needed to put this one in somewhere because as far as Strixhaven goes and the setting, it's within the expansive universe of Magic the Gathering. Dungeons & Dragons have released other settings with Magic the Gathering, including Ravnica and Theros. This character could have easily originated from one of these places and wanted to pursue more of a magical education from the best of colleges, so they simply found a portal and transported themselves there. It would also be a fun way to tie in these modules together somehow. There's also a Quandrix student background with the same structure as we've seen before, but if I could recommend some other feats, we could also look at the other Magic the Gathering settings. Sage, Izzet Engineer, and Cloistered Scholar are all great choices. With feats, you have Strixhaven Initiate and Strixhaven Mascot again. In this case, I would lean on to Illusion or Abjuration Magic, and other feats you could choose would be Skilled and Keen Mind. Great choices. Now, here I want to take a breather and thank you guys for all of your amazing support. I know I've been talking about trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and holy crap, with all of your likes and shares the last week, we got, I think, close to 250 subscribers alone, which from where I was like half of my subscriber count. Being where I'm at the channel, that's huge. So I just want to give credit where credit is due. Right now, still only about 20% of my viewers are subscribed, so it would honestly mean the world to me if you continue to like the video and share it around. Let's all pitch in and make this divine intervention happen. You guys are awesome. Next on the list of colleges, we have the College of Silverquill. Here we have students that focus on language, literature, and the power of words. They use these power of words to illuminate and conceal. They are oratory masters, skilled speakers, and master debaters. This book has the illusion and enchantment wizards fall under this category, as well as light and trickery domain clerics. They also include paladins and rogues into this, but let's play around a little bit, and here are my top 5 subclasses for Silverquill. Number 1, Eloquence Bard. Literally the oratory god that cannot roll below a 10 on any given persuasion check. These ones are definitely the ones that are leading the group projects or flattering the teacher into giving them a good grade. To me, this subclass really speaks for itself in belonging to this college. Number 2, Whisper's Bard. And instead of using their words to persuade or deceive, they use their words to manipulate and frighten. They are the ones that cheated all the tests, and their words are so toxic that they literally cause psychic damage. Number 3, Crown Paladin. Using your words to boister or compel, and a spell list that commands, you are either the school bully or the teacher's aide, always bowing to authority and looking good in their eyes. Number 4, a Scribe's Wizard. Now this is another self-explanatory one, but it's a subclass more focused on the power of the written word. The words that they put down create a living magical sentience. Or I could also see a novelist wizard who the characters in their book literally come to life. Their magical quill also pairs well with the Inkling mascot of Silverquill. Number 5, the Assassin Rogue. This one's really fun because you get to play with mimicry. You study people and copy their behavior, their writing, their speech patterns. This could very well be a method actor or impressionist. They could fake a doctor's note to get out of class and pretend to be their parents when the school eventually calls. But now we talk about Silverquill backgrounds, and you can use a Silverquill student to get the same as you've done in other subclasses. But you could also use Grinner, Noble, and Charlatan as great options for backgrounds as well. Then aside from the STRIXHAVEN feats, you could also use Inspiring Leader or Actor to really play into your power of words. I would also use Enchantment or Illusion Magic when spellcasting comes up. And now we move to the College of Witherbloom. This college focuses on alchemy and life sciences as a point of reading. This includes both the life and death aspects of biology and necromancy. You can play around with these things as you're exploring monster anatomy or cataloging swamp flora. Your average botanists and morticians. In this college, warlock gets to shine as well as druids again. Also included, we have necromancy wizards and life and nature clerics, and then rangers, barbarians, and rogues. That aside, here are my top 5 subclasses for the Witherbloom College. Number 1, the Undead Warlock. This, to me, really fits in with the Witherbloom aesthetic. These students keep a collection of animal bones and pelts, as well as taxidermy in their dorm rooms, much to the chagrin of their roommates. But it would be a great opportunity to make your form of dread a little bit more plant-like. Number 2, Spores Druid. With their natural knack for poisons and plants, they are a natural fit to this college. Having an affinity for fungi, you can often find them in the school greenhouses, studying so long that they forget to shower. And with those spores floating around them, it literally shows. Number 3, the Alchemist Artificer. Now, Artificer needs a little love because they weren't mentioned one time in the list of subclasses that you could take for any of these colleges. But of course, it's at home in brewing potions and elixirs. They're really good at chemistry, and they could be the one roommate that's really experimental with their cooking. Number 4, the Swarm Keeper Ranger. This is your mascot subclass for Witherbloom. These mascots are called pests, and they're little grub-like creatures, and the ranger just keeps them around because they help with magic. Which I should mention that everyone in this college uses these pests, so this ranger is like the kid who opens the pack of 5 gum in the middle of class and everyone wants a piece. Number 5, Grave Domain Cleric. You also get a similar feel with the Death Domain, but this one I think exemplifies the balance between life and death. They have no issue in dissecting a frog, healing it, and dissecting it again. And then using backgrounds other than the Witherbloom student background, you could use Hermit, Outlander, or Simic Scientist, all of which help you with nature and arcana. And then feats you can take outside of Strixhaven Initiate and Mascot, you could choose the Poisoner or Healer feat, while focusing your spells largely on the Necromancy and Transmutation schools of magic, if you want. Now, even with all of these features and subclasses, especially being my pick, you can play whatever you want. There is no limit on your creativity and your flavor of certain subclasses to fit the character concept that you like. On my channel, I've talked a lot about not letting common tropes of these subclasses rule over our creativity. So of course your warlock could feel more like a druid, and your fighter could feel more like a rogue. Doesn't matter. But even with all of that said, if you did find other character concepts or other subclasses that would fit better with any of these colleges, please let me know in the comments below. But hopefully I gave you some fun, flavorful ideas that you could use for your Strixhaven game to make it more memorable. Make sure to stick around next week as I go over unique origins for the wizard class in my Better Classes series. In the meantime, go out there and spread the good word of D&D and make the world a better place, both on and off your tables. See you in the next one.